Tonight on Versus.
They called it Tyrannosaurus Rex, the ultimate Terminator. 6 tons of bone-crunching bad dreams. The undisputed king of the dinosaurs. There has never been a serious challenger to its crown.
It's one of the most mysterious dinosaurs ever discovered. Head like a crocodile. Meter-long jaws. A spectacular sail. And an overall body larger than T-Rex.
Who has the biggest, baddest, bone-crushing bite force? Will the T-Rex come out on top with its high IQ? Or will the heavyweight Spinosaurus win the fight with its size?
Dr. Adam Britton, a reptile expert who works with saltwater crocs in northern Australia. Dr. Adam Britton is a crocodile biologist. He lives and works with saltwater crocs in Australia's Northern Territory.
I think I killed it.
Croc researcher Adam Britton wondered how they could survive such a brutal ordeal.
Crocodiles are very, very powerful animals. They fight all the time, very territorial animals, and we all know how efficient they are with their teeth. At the very least, it's going to get infected. Bacteria are going to get in there, the animal's just going to die from some kind of septicemia. With crocodiles, it just doesn't seem to happen very often. And so, you know, why? Why not? What is it about these animals that stops them from actually really suffering very badly from these kind of injuries?
Adam helped make the remarkable discovery that one species, the Australian saltwater crocodile, has a natural antibiotic in its blood. This powerful agent may protect the salties from infection. But do all crocodilians enjoy such protection? If so, it may offer another clue as to why crocodiles are such survivors.
Dave Salmoni, a big cat expert who's teaching captive tigers to hunt in the wild.
Good one, good boy, good boy.
Dave Salmoni, zoologist, tiger wrangler, and moderator. His most recent assignment, training zoo tigers to hunt in the wild.
What do you think?
Dave Salmoni is a big cat expert. His latest project, an unprecedented attempt to teach captive tigers to hunt. No one has gotten closer to tigers and lived, but not even Dave has been able to measure the power of their paws and jaws.
Instinctively, she goes for the throat, but she's not done yet.
The female's doing a great suffocation bite, but she's missed it by a bit. She wants to move it over a little bit right here so that there's no air going through it at all.
Hey, buddy.
No, no. Backing away.
Interesting.
Backing away. Is he still coming? Okay, let's go, Greg. Backing away. Greg, I want you over here.
Yeah, get
Greg,
over.
Over here.
Back up. That's the real deal, Bucko. That's the real deal. He's running. Dave, get in here now. Get in here now.
Okay, even I have to admit that this next dinosaur is impressive. The Spinosaurus is perhaps the largest of carnivores. Of course, I'll never get close enough to one to see for myself, but that's why I have you.
Why? Because the creature's head bears a remarkable resemblance to that of a crocodile. A really big crocodile.
With a giant claw powerful enough to punch through metal. A mouth full of crocodile-like teeth. And a sail on its back. It's the biggest, baddest, weirdest dinosaur you've never heard of. Its name is Spinosaurus. Now we unravel its deadly secrets. Spinosaurus deserves celebrity status too.
Spinosaurus is a truly amazing dinosaur. It's big, it's really specialized, really well adapted to a different way of life than any other giant creature, and it's just plain weird looking. It certainly is one of the great stars in the history of dinosaurs.
Spinosaurus has earned its Hollywood star. It's big and bizarre with a seriously bad attitude.
If I heard that there was a living Spinosaurus today, I would be there in a flash.
Now, our scientific team is resurrecting this monster to try to figure out how it lived, hunted, and killed.
Resurrecting a dinosaur like Spinosaurus is pretty difficult, especially when the first specimen was destroyed and we can't even use those original bones.
Recently discovered skull fragments reveal that Spino didn't bite like other big dinosaurs. Its teeth weren't designed to tear through armored skin, bone, and flesh like T-Rex.
They're cone-shaped teeth, 6, 8, 10 inches long, possibly longer, sticking out of tremendously powerful jaws. Really, really nasty weapons of destruction.
Literally shake their prey to bits. And it looks like Spinosaurus used a similar technique.
When Spinosaurus got its jaws onto its victim, it would pierce through the meat with those conical teeth. It would thrash its skull back and forth, yanking out chunks of meat, and as it's thrashing back and forth, that victim's neck could be broken. So between the meat being pulled out and the thrashing back and forth, that victim would not last very long.
Crocodile-like head measuring 1.6 meters long and 27 centimeter teeth, this not-so-gentle giant was a force to be reckoned with. The spines on his upper back are called a sail. It used these 1.5 meter spines
than the T-Rex. Even people who don't know the difference between herbivore and carnivore know all about the Tyrannosaurus Rex. And when you see her up close, feel her gaze, you understand why the T-Rex was the ruler of the Cretaceous period.
feet tall. It has a massive jaw, powerful leg muscles, and huge flesh-ripping teeth. It is commonly believed that T-Rex was the ultimate predator, but that would depend largely on how fast he ran. And this is the test Dino Lab is conducting today. To provide expert support for this experiment, we have called in 3 giants in the field of paleontology: Dr. Ryosuke Motani, Professor Kent Stevens, and Dr. Hans Larsen.
I think that Tyrannosaurus rex is the most fascinating dinosaur and the most popular dinosaur of all time, and will be for a long time to come, because it's the largest carnivorous dinosaur that we have. There are 2 or 3 contenders, but it's certainly one of the largest. It's one of the oldest known dinosaurs as well. It was named in 1905, so now more than 100 years old. Plus, children's imaginations makes T-Rex the most popular dinosaur.
Knowing the top speed of T-Rex is important, because if it ran at only 10 to 15 miles per hour, about as fast as an elephant, there's no way it could have been the deadly hunter we imagine. So, to find out how fast T-Rex could run, we first need to know how much it weighed.
So here we have a femur, an upper leg bone of a T-Rex.
Left side, right.
From the left side, right. And the femur is nice because it gives us an idea as to what kinds of forces were going on in this animal, because it only walked on 2 legs. So at one point, 1 foot is off the ground, and the entire weight of the animal is sitting on this bone.
Yes.
Which is really a fantastic piece of information, because now we can look at bone circumference, like the whole diameter around here, which I can't even touch my fingers around to give you an idea how big this thing is.
In fact, it's more than its weight. When it strikes the ground, there's even more force than its mass coming back on up.
So every step this guy is taking, he's not only putting down all his weight on one leg, but the downward momentum of his weight on his leg. So there's really a lot of forces going on here. And we can get an idea for some of the forces just by looking at some of these muscle scars here. So here's a really rugose region where a really big muscle was inserting onto this bone.
So coming up over the knee.
Yeah, so in the size of this insertion and the kind of remodeling that the bone is doing around the muscle gives us an indication that there's lots of forces going on here.
Yes.
Judging by the thickness of the bones and the huge size of the skeleton, T-Rex should have weighed at least 6 or 7 tons. If that's the case, this heavyweight could not have been the speedy predator we've seen in so many movies. Instead of being the king of the prehistoric jungle, like the modern lion, it would have been a scavenger of dead carcasses, like a hyena. Dino Lab is going to examine this dinosaur in an entirely new way to find out once and for all how fast T-Rex could run.
Up the treadmill, come on!
Was it the fleet-footed predator of our imagination, or just a big, dumb scavenger of leftovers? Using a specially designed king-size treadmill, John and his team will clinically measure if the Roadrunner from Hell deserves its nickname.
Really slow at first. Really slow. 5 kilometers. 5 locations.
So how fast was this guy, do you think? Well, that's the tricky question, because a lot of the estimates of, let's say, mass or speed are really based on the same kinds of values, like the circumference of the femur, for instance. And so it becomes a circular argument if we start trying to talk about the two together. So we have to find a way to tease them apart, and which has been the topic of research for many decades.
The biggest land animals today, the elephants, weigh up to 5 tons and also have huge leg muscles, but they can only reach speeds of 10 to 15 miles per hour.
Okay, yeah, faster.
Some of the important reasons for wanting to know how fast, let's say, a Tyrannosaurus rex could run have implications far beyond just physiology. If we think of some modern reptiles today, they can really go at high speeds, but only for a very short, sustained period of time. If things like a Tyrannosaurus rex could run at high speed and at sustained rates. This gives us a window into how much food these kinds of animals would require. The difference is an order of magnitude. If it were cold-blooded with capabilities of doing short, fast burst speeds, it would, let's say, eat X number of pounds of meat per day. If it were highly endothermic, so warm-blooded, and doing the same thing, it would be 10x the amount of meat per day, which is, if we do the math up now, from how many pounds of meat a T-Rex would have to eat, if it were cold-blooded versus warm-blooded, is we're approaching eating an elephant a day.
Okay. Yeah.
If T-Rex needed to eat several tons of fresh meat every day, speed and endurance would have meant the difference between life or death. 4 to 5 tons per day is a lot of meat. So the question we need to answer is, how could such a huge and heavy predator be so successful at running down its prey? It turns out that the T-Rex may have had a hidden advantage, one that paleontologists only recently discovered. By taking a much closer look at the T-Rex skeleton, scientists found that its bones are not solid, but riddled with holes. This type of bone structure is common in birds, which need to be light to fly, but totally surprising in a gigantic predator that needs to be strong to fight. And it makes a huge difference to how experts calculate the weight of T-Rex.
They used to grossly overestimate T-Rex, taking into consideration the fact that there was a lot of pneumaticity, a lot of hollow bones in the anterior skeleton, maybe not in the tail. Do you think those are still overestimates?
A lot of the estimates that we do for things like T-Rex are based on solid bones. Certainly you're right in taking out some of that mass by saying that there's air inside them. Right. I think that we could even go further and maybe take off 40% approximately in terms of total mass, not because of just air filling in many of the bones of the body, but also air fills in a lot of the body cavity.
So then if we drop down into the 3-ton range or so for a full adult T-Rex, what do you think the speed would have been?
If we were to drop the mass down to something more realistic, realistic along the theropod to bird evolution side, that we can probably, with confidence, say that they could run upwards of 25 miles per hour, no problem, right, and maybe even more. Some of the things that we have to take into account that have yet to be taken into account in terms of how fast a T-Rex could run are beyond computer models right now. Things like shock absorption, how much energy is stored within inside tendons or springs inside the body. If we look at the tails of T-Rex, they're very long. Half the length of the T-Rex is in the tail. The tail is also very stiff, with lots of muscles and tendons sheathing the outside of the tail, making it essentially a balancing organ. Now, if you put this thing on a treadmill and we watch how it runs, I would bet a lot of money that the tail is actually acting not only as a balancing organ, but as some kind of a force spring storage.
Very few other dinosaurs could have outrun T-Rex at this speed.
25. Watch out! Getting up!
New discoveries show that the combination of a lighter body, along with a rigid tail that stores energy with every stride and then releases that energy like a spring, enabled T-Rex to run much faster than we previously thought. If T-Rex could run fast enough to catch any other dinosaur that had the misfortune to cross his path, what defensive mechanisms and survival strategies did other dinos use to protect themselves from those flesh-ripping teeth? Help solve a mystery. Was T-Rex a predator or a scavenger?
T-Rex was one of the last surviving dinosaurs and one of the biggest meat-eating dinosaurs ever known within the dinosaur world. And the question of whether or not it was a scavenger, so feeding on previously dead carcasses, or an active predator is a major question. The whole ecosystem, the lifestyle of what it was doing at the time and how it fit into the rest of the animal and plant population rests on some of these fundamental questions, many of which are not testable with just fossils.
Scavengers need powerful teeth and jaws to crush and eat bones. However, the fine, sharp teeth of meat-eating predators would shatter on bone. Dino Lab has created an experiment to safely test T-Rex's teeth. If it will cooperate.
Full power in the fences.
High-voltage shocks are designed to stop aggression, like a stun gun.
Are we getting all his vitals?
But there can be lethal side effects.
What do you see?
Nothing. Are you okay?
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
T-Rex is back in action. Dino Lab team is now ready to see if T-Rex had the bone-chomping power of a scavenger.
This is an upper jaw right there.
That's huge.
So the size of it, all this bone is here.
Very
just
solid.
It's raw. It's solid bone just to support these massive teeth.
Right. Well, we do see that in some carnivores.
The pressure sensor is carefully calibrated by scientists while the animal handlers prepare the bait.
Hook up the sensor.
The sensor, now wrapped in meat, will measure the maximum jaw force T-Rex could generate with its crushing teeth, massive jaw, and powerful musculature.
Lower away.
We can look at bite force by looking at its biomechanics of the entire skull. And this requires looking at all the different joints in the skull, all the different bones, all the different muscle reconstructions, and see if we can come up with an idea of what the skull was doing in life.
See how hard this guy can bite. Lift the bait. Let's see if it bites harder.
The sensor is not reading the power range required for a scavenger. T-Rex is now biting into the bait with its full strength. The sensor is starting to overload.
Drop it! Drop it now!
T-Rex has proved it has the muscle power and bite required for scavenging on massive bones.
These guys would have no problem picking up and even giving it a small toss in the air.
T-Rex flies into a rage, furious that there is no tasty marrow at the heart of the sensor.
Somebody's gonna have to go in there and retrieve the sensor.
Dave, get in there and get the sensor.
What? Are you serious? Okay. Just keep him busy.
Dave's colleagues have been testing his courage. Now they know he can be trusted in the face of any danger.
Okay.
Okay, folks, let's clean up this mess and we'll set up for the sauropod experiments.
The biomechanics of T-Rex's very powerful jaw and colossal neck muscles would make it the perfect scavenger. The body of a young T-Rex is a total contrast. Almost a different animal.
The juveniles seem to be very fast-footed, slender-skulled, slender teeth, very delicate, but very highly predatory-looking animals. But when we get to the full adults, where they get these big bulldog faces, massive skulls, massive necks, and really massive teeth, we can make a good case that the younger adolescent T-Rexes were more predatory, and that the older, more mature T-Rexes were transforming or tending into a more scavenging mode of life. Is there any comparable animal like this today?
Well, actually, yes, the lion is a very good comparison, because in the lion pride, the females and the younger animals, which are comparatively smaller and lighter and faster, they're the ones who hunt. And the big male lions come in after the hunt is over, and basically they eat the killed animals, so they're being scavengers in a sense.
The fleet-footed young T-Rex was a predator, and the massive muscular adult was more of a scavenger. Dino Lab's experiments have finally resolved the conflicting evidence that has caused so much debate.
Lions have a bite force of about 4,500 kilopascals, but that's nothing compared to a tiger's bite force of 7,240 kilopascals.
Was T-Rex a vicious killing machine? Was it the cold-hearted butcher we love to hate? Challenging the deadly reputation of T-Rex is nothing less than heresy.
conical teeth that can grow to a size of 12 inches, it's no surprise.
dinosaurs you see today, please keep an eye out for the information points located in the foyer circle. To you, right here, this very location.
Creatures were here before us. And if we're not careful, they're going to be here after.